Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. It's been a minute since we've been in the garden together and we have a lot of stuff happening. So I thought I'd walk you through the garden and show you some of the fun stuff that is happening right now. If you hear a noise in the background, I have a sprinkler going. We are in, I think most of the country is in the midst of a massive heat wave right now. It's the middle of June. And we are having temperatures well over 90, 95. And we don't really experience that here, especially not in June. Maybe July, maybe for like 2 weeks in July. But it is unheard of for it to be happening in June. So I woke up super early this morning. I woke up at 6, I left the house at 6:30, went to Lowe's twice to get my supplies. And then I worked outside till about 10:30. And then that kind of just zapped all of my energy. That's the one thing I really hate about the heat, is I'm not somebody that can work in the heat. I did a good laundry list of things I got done. But when I tell you I was exhausted, And I'm not somebody who likes to like sit and relax. But I sat and I read over 100 pages of my book today because it was so stinking hot. I still got a lot done, so I don't feel bad about that. But it's really hot. So we just watered the garden. I have a brand new sprinkler. My old sprinkler broke. So we just watered the garden. I'm now watering the flower farm area. And I thought I'd show you some of the fun stuff that's happening. So the first thing I'm obsessed with is this row of daylilies. Oh, I'm getting wet. Oh, I'm getting wet. Let's go now. Sprinklers turn in the other direction. But so I planted lilies and daylilies and irises, but right now it's the lilies, the daylilies, Stelladora that are blooming, and they're doing gorgeous things. So my whole goal with this row was I wanted to be completely hands off, and I really want these daylilies to take over this whole fence. And it's really hard to see in picture. It looks so much better in person, but every year it gets better and better and better. And this year it was the best year yet. There are so many daylilies that look so pretty. And then I really like, it's really hot, so that sprinkle actually feels really nice. But I have some I keep wanting to say gladiolus. They're not gladiolus, they're stelladoras. I have some stellas, and then I have some other kinds of daylilies. I don't know what kind they are. They're just the red kind. It's getting a little late in the day, so oh, here's one that's open. I have a couple of those the whole way through. Here comes the rain. Well, I wish it was the rain, but here comes the water. But I like the different daylilies and different lilies I have in there. I think that space is looking so great. I think this year I'm gonna buy just some more regular lilies to put in that space because I really like the different heights, the different color. I'm really, really loving it. Let me show you some things happening in the front of this bed. I don't have too much going on. We had some gorgeous, I'll put some pictures at the end. Some gorgeous lilies here that stopped blooming. Some baby's breath. I need to water that baby's breath. I see it's not doing too well. You know, I don't have too much going on here, which makes me sad. I have some black hollyhocks. I have a big one back there we'll take a look at. But down here, I have this yarrow, which is spreading like crazy, and then this massive, so first the yarrow, and then this massive dahlia. So that dahlia, I've overwintered in that space for like 3 years, and it does fantastic. That one is leaps and bounds ahead of any of the dahlias that I planted in the spring. That one has buds on it, and then here is very long. And then I have one right here that I planted last year that did nothing, and I was surprised it came up this year. So that one has blooms on it too. So that's something we're going to change for next year. I'm going to overwinter all of my bulbs. I also have a ton of canna lilies that have overwintered. And so I'm not in a space where I can overwinter these bulbs. It is taking a risk. But I've had such great success. I have already decided that this year I'm not digging out any bulbs. I'm leaving them. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna cover them with straw, but we're gonna leave them behind. In our green stalk, we planted green beans and nasturtiums. Everything is coming in great there. And then my green bean arch here has finally started to, well, that's a cucumber. The big thing is a cucumber. But the green bean arch has finally started to give me some plants that are starting to grow up that arch. When I first planted it, I really struggled with some sort of pest just kept eating the plants. So they have finally started to get a foothold, and so I'm hoping to have green beans this year. Well, I'm gonna have green beans this year. I'm hoping to have green beans soon. What I have been eating a lot of is my peas. So this year I used to only have one trellis of peas. I did 2 this year. And I'll be honest, I don't feel like I'm getting as many peas as I should be getting. Last year I had a great pea harvest. This year definitely not having. I'm having a pea harvest where I'm eating enough that I'm tired of it. I'm kind of getting tired of the peas. However, I still want to put some back in the freezer. I've only put back 2 bags of peas in the freezer so far. So I would like to put back more. I am going to try to grow a fall crop in this bed in the fall. So we'll see if that gives me anything. But let's look at this beauty. Look how pretty. I mean, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And this plant is well taller than me. And it's actually almost reaching the top of my pole. I think that's 10 foot. So that puppy is doing amazing. So great. It has also taken over like this whole bed. This whole bed is basically just a hollyhock. I have a couple potatoes in there. I have a couple broccolis. Very random things. But speaking of potatoes, here is my potato bed. And I want to talk about potatoes real quick. So I was very much on this bandwagon that I was not going to do potatoes in the spring because I hate digging potatoes in the spring. And this weekend I changed my mind. So I decided I will always do a spring crop of potatoes so that I have fresh eaten potatoes. I came down this weekend, I pulled up 2 plants, and I had enough for a side of potatoes for me and my company. That's a bug in my eye. And they were small, they cooked up super great. It was a great side. Right now I have peas, zucchini, lettuce, and potatoes that are available for me to eat from. So if I don't do the spring potatoes, then I don't have the potatoes to eat from. So my new plan moving forward is to just do a small bed like this for new potatoes. And those are potatoes I'm not gonna get super big. I'm gonna harvest them whenever I want to eat them. This will be not for storage or preservation at all. This is entirely for fresh eating. And then do a huge crop in the fall of potatoes for a fall harvest. That's gonna be my preservation. That's gonna be my canning and my freezing and all that stuff. So these beds, this potato bed is this length here. It has about a month left. It's July 17th today. No, not July, June 17th today. And these come out typically around June. I don't know my months. These potatoes typically come out around July 17th, July 15th, something like that. They are flowering. So after your potatoes flower, it's typically when they start dying back. So anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks after they flower, they'll start dying back. And most of mine have flowered and are completely done flowering. So if you are doing the fall potato harvest with me, sorry, my hair is a mess. I'm going to pull these potatoes on July 17th, and then I just go to the grocery store and I buy potatoes from the grocery store. I cut them and I put them in the ground. And I put them in the ground around July 15th, July 20th. And then I harvest them like the day before my first frost. So I get my big fall harvest. And then what's great about that is I can use them for preservation. I can use them for canning, freezing, and all that stuff. But then I can also use them for Thanksgiving and Christmas and have fresh potatoes not canned potatoes, not going to the grocery store, not have potatoes that are a couple months old. It worked out really great for me last year, and I'm really excited to do it again. I see I have a pea here that needs some support. My peas are actually getting super tall. This one, which winds its way over here and goes over there, is actually above. If it would go straight, if it was just completely straight, it'd probably be over 10 feet tall. Or maybe that's, I'm really bad at measurements, but it's taller than me, and I'm almost 6 foot. I'm 5'7". So, it's taller than me by a good amount. I pulled my first, and I think my only broccoli, this week. I had a broccoli. It was small. And my cabbage is just starting to head up. Let me show you. My cabbage looks absolutely stunning. Like, that is a gorgeous specimen of a cabbage. These are cauliflowers. These look gorgeous. They have nothing in them yet though. I don't think with this heat they're going to get anything. That guy back there was the broccoli. And then you can see I have a couple volunteer. There's a volunteer potato. Here's a big volunteer potato. I have some volunteer potatoes in the pathways over there. And then this side didn't really do anything there. So this area, so what I decided, and we are going to do a video where I talk about my fall garden and what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. That's, I think, the next video that I'm going to shoot, because I'm getting ready to start my fall plants. When I garden, I do like to rotate through everything. But I don't have enough space to rotate. So rotating right now is not really going to be an option. So unfortunately, against all my better judgment, I am planting my fall brassicas here and my fall potatoes there. I'm going to heavily amend the beds. Not what I like to do for a number of reasons. Disease can be, if you plant something in the same place, you're more prone to diseases, to insects, to bugs, to pest damage. The plant pulls up all the nutrients, and so if you plant the same thing there that needs the same amount of nutrients, you have even less nutrients for the plant, and they don't do as well. So typically, rotation is the best way to do things. However, I just don't have the space to give a good space for potatoes and then a good space for brassicas. So I'm thinking some of this space might be also potatoes. I need to figure it out. I really need to figure it out, because I also want to cover this whole space with plastic in order to have a winter garden. So we have some thinking to do. So that's gonna be in the next video, because I haven't done all that thinking yet. But I'm just excited that the potatoes are doing so well. And we knew the brassicas weren't going to do well. If it cooled down, my brassicas have obviously regrown themselves. If you weren't here, if you're new to me, hi, welcome, happy that you're here. But this spring, for the first time ever, I had a massive slug problem. And I didn't figure out what it was in time, and it ate all of my brassicas. I planted in that space probably over 25, maybe even 30 plants, and probably about 25 plants. And I think there's less than 10 left. A lot died, and that's really unfortunate. And so typically I'm rolling in broccoli right now. I've gotten one broccoli head. So that's going to be something I'm going to make a heavy point to do in the fall, to grow broccoli in the fall, so I can hopefully put back my broccoli harvest. Broccoli is something for me. I eat in the fall, in the winter, and the spring. I eat it from frozen, and I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't have a broccoli harvest. So as of right now, I'm not conceding defeat. I'm going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work in the fall. Welcome to the tomato jungle. It's a jungle. So I actually had help this year trellising my tomatoes. We're trying a new system where we run string. So there's tomatoes in the middle, and we run string on either end. And then as the tomatoes grow, we tie string along both sides of the tomatoes. So that is the attempt to not have this massive jungle. But look at what's happening in the jungle. We got some tomatoes coming. So this is a sun gold cherry tomato, which literally takes up this whole space. This sun gold is beyond massive, beyond massive. And then I saw over here, we have our first normal sized, I think they're normal size tomatoes. Let's see what else we have in here. So we're starting to, I don't see any more yet. Oh wait, there's one. So we're starting to get tomatoes, so I'm really, really excited. I do a ton of fresh eating with my tomatoes. Well, I don't. I do a lot of fresh eating with my tomatoes. But this year I'm really hoping to make it go a lot further. I have a whole bunch of pasta salads I'm gonna make with the cherry tomatoes. I want to eat my fill of caprese salads. I'm so in the mood for caprese salad, and I'm patiently waiting for my tomatoes. So they're coming along great. I'm really excited for them. And then look at my corn. Look how good my corn looks. Oh, and then I built an arch today. I decided I needed another arch. And the point of this arch was to actually, let me come over here so you can see. The point of this arch was I actually want to get a glider to sit in here, to have another seat in my garden. So right now, the only seat I have in my garden is my patio table, which I love. I sit there all the time. I have dinners out here. Love it. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't want to sit at the patio table. I need to have options. So I thought it'd be really nice to have this over here. And this space isn't honestly widely used. Those are really loud sirens. So this space isn't often widely used. I have some pepper plants in here right now. I'm gonna bring you down and show you. They're doing great things. But I thought this would be a great place to put a glider. And I thought that'd be really nice. So I built this, and then I bought my mom a wisteria plant last year, and it's grown fantastically. I think I need to get some more water for it. So apparently you can take cut-ins of wisteria and root it directly in soil, directly where you want it to be. And so that's what I'm going to grow up over here is wisteria. I'm hoping these cut-ins work and save me the money of having to go buy a wisteria plant, but we'll know in a couple days. I shouldn't have planted them in the heat of the summer, but I'm gonna hopefully keep them watered and hopefully they root and they do just fine. But I think that's gonna be such a pretty place to just sit, relax, especially once it has shade. And then hopefully it'll help kind of provide some shade once it's covered with that big flowering wisteria. Hopefully it'll help provide some shade to some of the garden. Well, we'll see. But I'm excited for that. So what I didn't show you. So right now I do have peppers underneath of it, and my peppers are starting to grow. Look at that little pepper. Isn't it the cutest little pepper you ever saw? So my peppers are doing. I stepped on that one today, putting this up, and they broke off his stem. But that one has a little jalapeno on it. And then these peppers were replaced because they got slug damage. And you can see they're still a little behind, but they are coming. So they're coming, and I'm ready for them when they get here. I just watched Jessica, my old friend Jessica at Roots and Refuge, just did her mom's garden tour. And I've known this, and I've decided to try it this year. So her mom was talking about how peppers are perennials, but most of us don't have a space to put them. It gets too cold for them. so they die. But they're not typically annuals. So her mom was saying how she has peppers that are years old, and the peppers that are years old are already giving her fruit. And not even in the South with new pepper plants are they harvesting peppers right now. It's still too early. So I decided this year we're going to experiment. I'm going to pull some peppers and I'm going to bring them inside. I'm going to bring them fully inside. I'm going to put them in a room in my house, give them just a kitchen window, or like not a kitchen, but like a window light. Water them occasionally. She said they will look like they're dead. Just water them. When you put them outside, they come right back to life. So we're going to try it, and we're going to see if we can't overwinter peppers. Because if we could be having peppers right now, I would be in heaven. That's the only thing that I hate with this whole, I eat what's coming in the garden, I only eat when it's coming in, and I make sure you eat until you're tired of it. But some things don't have a long enough time for me to get tired of it. Like I was just thinking today, I am hungry for asparagus. And asparagus season for me lasts about 2 weeks and then it's gone. And then you have to wait a full year for asparagus to come back. I do cheat once or twice a year maybe, and I'll buy asparagus from the farmer's market or from the store. But I'm going to really try not to. And I'm really going to try to wait until next year. And then again, just eat in those 2 weeks, eat it for every single meal. So we're gonna try that with the peppers in the fall, and so I'm excited. I feel like I look like a drowned rat. Do I look as hot as I actually feel? And not in a good way, in a, oh, I need another shower kind of a way. I worked outside all day, and I got a shower. And I've been in the air conditioning all day, which has been lovely. And it's still stinking hot outside. I'm not having a good time. So I think, oh, this is the other exciting thing I'll show you. Oof, my asparagus is huge. Speaking of asparagus, my asparagus plant right here is just massive, with this guy being super, super tall. So I planted this today. This, I brought in more compost because nothing was growing here. And I put northern beans in here. I put a whole bunch actually. I really kind of overplanted this space. But I'm very excited to see if these grow. And then my sweet potatoes are doing beautiful things. I accidentally pulled out this sweet potato right here, the one that you can see that's dying. I accidentally pulled out that sweet potato while I was trying to weed, and it was already growing little sweet potatoes underneath of it. So I think this is going to be a really great sweet potato harvest. I'm very excited. And then I also have beans here that are just massive. I was kind of dumb. I put my trellis so far back, and then I planted the peas in the front. So my peas, I'm having to like reach to the trellis. So it's something that as the peas put off their vines, I am trellising them for myself. So yeah, so that's not a full garden tour. We still have other things happening. But I just wanted to, I'm getting hot too. I just wanted to do a quick peek in all the fun things that's happening. We have flowers blooming. We have asparagus smacking us in the face. And it is a gorgeous time to be alive. Maybe not outside, but at least alive. And then let me go turn off the sprinkler, and then I'll give you a peek at the flower farm. Okay, so here is the flower farm. I have a massive sunflower. I know I put them places. I have tucked sunflowers everywhere. And this is just one spot where I've tucked sunflowers and they're just not coming. I don't know what has happened this year. I'm definitely not having, typically like in my garden, there are sunflowers galore, and that is not happening this year, which is really disappointing. And so the takeaway for me this year is direct seeding is not a guarantee. I typically direct seed a lot because it's easier. But all of these sunflowers in this bed here, I started indoors and transplanted. They went through a great shock. Sunflowers do not like to be transplanted, but they held up really well. So I feel good about how well they're doing. So next year I think next year I'm going to start everything inside and then not rely on the direct sow. So this sunflower bed is doing pretty good. You can see things are starting to turn with the sun. I have a big, beautiful cosmos. We have a couple cosmos in here. And you can see, I'm gonna need water in the morning because you can see right where the water line was. But they should have got enough water to help them through the night. And then I see my first snapdragon opening. Look how pretty that is. So this bed was supposed to be entirely snapdragons. It is obviously not. And then I did heavily plant this bed with snapdragons. There was not these holes at all. And this was 100% a only the strong survive type of thing. So there's not that many left. But what is left definitely looks pretty strong, pretty healthy. And then I've tucked some butternut squashes into these beds. And then I have some shalosia, which is not doing great things. It keeps laying over. And it's laying over in all of the beds that I have it in. So I don't know what to do. So I don't really know what to do there. But it at least is a great pop of color in here. And then I have a couple of zinnias. And then I have, these are some red poppies that are blooming. There's a little bud there, but they don't last very long. This bed I just planted with sunflowers this morning. So let me see, make sure that the rain, yep, look, watering it shifts some soil. And especially with sunflower seeds, birds will eat them. So make sure they are all covered. But otherwise that looks good. And then this bed here is our dahlia bed. So we didn't have a great success with our dahlias. And look at this, some of them are not doing good. I think I transplanted that guy in. Well, that guy is not looking good either though. I think I'm gonna turn the water back on because that's still pretty dry. But hopefully we have some dahlias on these. So I just turned the water back on that bed, or on the flower farm, because the flower farm is still very dry. So I'm gonna watch it here, make sure it's getting enough water. But I'm excited to see what that's gonna do for the next couple weeks. But thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next garden tour, or I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to be shooting a fall planting video next, and then we're also going to be doing our garden tour video for June. So I'll see you guys in the next videos. Bye, friends.